How's everybody doing? It's dyclif here, and welcome to Game 4 of the NBA 2K12 version of the NBA Finals between the Miami Heat and the Oklahoma City Thunder. That is a mouthful to say, and anyways, again, I'm doing this after Game 4 has already happened, and this will probably go up the day of Game 5, and I just want to get my opinions out of the way real quick. Game 4 is extremely important, and I've always said, right here's the list of importancy of games. Game 7 is number 1. Game 5 is number 2. Game 3 is number 3. And it sort of goes like that because if you really look at it in the finals formats, Game 7 is obviously the most important out of any series. But this next game that's coming up, Game 5, I think whoever wins the game wins the series. Because if you look at it, the Heat are up 3-1. This is their last home game. They're looking to close. If the Thunder win, they go home. They go home to an electrified crowd, probably some of the best fans in the NBA. And you know what? I have to say the Thunder will probably win the series, even though no one has ever came back from a 3-1 in the finals. Teams have came back from 3-1 down. They have, but not in finals history. But I wouldn't count the Thunder out just yet. Sure, you're like, the Heat can win on the road. They've proved they can win on the road instead of Game 2. But what I'm saying is, I think we have not seen the Thunder's best basketball yet. It's scary to think that James Harden is not playing up to standards. It's scary to think Serge Ibaka is not playing up to par. That's the scary thought. If Serge Ibaka could hit... It's not like Serge Ibaka it's his fault. He's playing very limited minutes for some reason. I think it's because of the small lineup by the Heat, like Shane Battier, and it really extends the floor, and it's hard to contest shots that way. So I think they should play him regardless. And if the Heat make threes, they make threes. But what I'm saying is the Thunder should look inside more because they definitely have a size advantage in this series that's not being used. And I said Shane Battier and LeBron was on Kendrick Perkins. Again, not that keen of an offensive player, not that known for offense, but size kills. Size absolutely kills, and that's one thing to remember. But inside of Game 4, we saw basically Russell Westbrook try to take over the show and just make it his game. It was a wonderful game from his standpoint. I think he had 43 points and like 7 boards and 5 assists. I mean, he basically did not want to lose the game, but it came down to within 3 points. I think it was 101 to 98, and there was a jump ball situation, and he didn't have to foul. But you know, I'm not necessarily going to blame him for it because, I mean, whenever there's a jump ball underneath 5 seconds on the shot clock, it automatically goes back up to 5 seconds, and he thought that there was more time on the shot clock. It's just a mental error. He was in the zone, and sometimes you just can't comprehend what's going on whenever your main thought is, okay, got to get a stop or foul and get a score. That's running through your mind, and I think that was running through Westbrook's mind inside the final few seconds. And also, like, if I had to rate his performance on a scale from grade level, or let's go with a scale from 1 to 10 because that's what ESPN First Take was doing, I'm going to give him a 9. I'm going to give him a solid 9. I mean, people say he takes too many shots, but he had to on this night because James Harden blew a wide-open layup. James Harden missed a few threes. Kevin Durant, he did all right, but, you know, he could always pick it up a little bit. I mean, it seemed like the Thunder was not necessarily afraid of the moment, but Westbrook just took charge, and he said, this is my moment, this is my game, and this is how I'm going to play it. And that's basically what happened. So I don't blame anyone per se on the Thunder, but I will say that Russell Westbrook basically just said, I'm not going to put up with it anymore, and I'm just going to take this game over. And I mean, that's exactly what he did. So, but anyways, something that's concerning me is the Thunder's three-point shooting. It's down to 27.8% inside this series alone. where they were shooting over 33% as a team of the regular season. So, you know, we have not seen the Thunder's best basketball yet. I believe when Russell Westbrook is scoring about 23 points and dishing out about 8 or 9 assists, and Kevin Durant's putting up 30-some points, and Serge is putting up his, a casual 15 and sort of 11 game, and Perkins, whenever he scores over 5 points. And something I've noticed is when Kendrick Perkins opens the game up scoring the basketball, like he did against San Antonio, he scored, I think it was 6 points inside of like the first 3 minutes of the game. The Thunder get off to better starts with Kendrick Perkins scoring the basketball. I don't know how you can start doing that, but again, we saw the Thunder go up by 17, I believe, inside the first quarter and into the second. And Miami just came back. And why? It was a mixture of things. It was a mixture of Norris Cole coming off the bench and stepping up as a rookie in the NBA Finals, knocking down 2 huge buckets at the end of the first quarter, and then another one at the start of the second quarter to give them that little push they needed. And keep in mind, Mario Chalmers was not shooting the ball particularly well at all. He missed his 2 first threes. Really wasn't. It was up and down defense, not much you can say there. But came back into the game and lit it up. Absolutely lit it up. And I think because of Norris Cole's just ability to make baskets happen, stirred up Mario Chalmers on the inside for him to sort of explode into the supernatural version of himself. I forgot how many points he put up, but it was like 24 or something by the end of free throws. And the Heat need basically 2 people to score. Well, I'm going to say there needs to be 3 people for the Heat to score 75 points, if that makes sense. So you have LeBron and Wade already contributing. So around 70 or 75 points between 3 people for the Heat will win them the game. And, there's been some people step up for the Heat lately, like Shane Battier for the first 3 games. This was sort of an off game for him, but not really, if you know what I mean. He still contributed, but just not as much as he did into the first 3 games. And now it's Mario Chalmers stepping up. So it should be interesting to see how it plays out. I mean, Game 5 tonight. My prediction is whoever wins. I'm not going to say who wins tonight. I'm not going to say who wins tonight because it's a tough one. I mean, you have Miami that's going after a ring tonight. You have Oklahoma City who could go home the bad way or the good way, and they're wanting the good way. If Oklahoma City goes home the good way, then I might have to give them the edge, even though they would be down 3-2 if they won tonight. It's just the way it goes. So, I mean, there's not much you can do there. But, yeah, this game, I just went on a tangent for about 8 minutes and 40 seconds. So, wow. Anyways, this game right here, the Heat are coming back, and they were down. Actually, they were up by 8, and then they somehow switched. And I noticed that something weird's happening inside my series. My series is sort of the exact polar opposite of what's happening in real life, sort of. Now, who wins the game is up in the air. But this was sort of reversed last night, and this was the highest scoring game out of any that I've simulated so far. So, and look at this. I mean, the Thunder were down by like 2 at this juncture, and then, the Heat would go up by 4. And then, I know that this final score doesn't replicate it exactly, but the situation is sort of reversed. So, I just find that sort of weird. Now, I'm going to simulate Game 5 simultaneously along with the game tonight. So, again, I don't know how that's going to work out, but the Thunder's starting to pull away. What can the Heat do? LeBron gets a screen from Bosch, and what a great slip to the basket by Haslam to cut it within 3. This is a huge possession for the Thunder. And they lose the ball, but the Heat turn it over. Harden coming back the other way and just lays it in off glass, and that is a huge play. Those plays make the differences in games. The Heat trying to answer back. LeBron to the cup, to the 10, gets it to go. And they foul Westbrook. He missed his first. This is his second. He'll casually knock it down. And that will basically be the game, as that would be the dagger. So the series is now tied 2-2 for mine, so we'll see how things end up. But anyways, hope you guys have enjoyed. And as always, have a nice day.